Hey parent peeps, Laura here. Just wanted to give you a quick heads up about this episode you're about to listen to. This episode is not our normal sit around and laugh and share funny stories about being moms. On this episode, we discuss the very sad news that came out this week about the case of Gannon Stauch, the 11-year-old boy who disappeared from Fountain, Colorado. Even though this case has gained national attention, it hit very close to home for us because Fountain is where my family settled after my father retired. And I lived there for many, many years, and my parents still live there. And Jessica just moved down there a short time ago, so it is her community. There are a ton of tears in this episode, but we felt it was really important to share it because Gannon deserves for the world to know what that horrible person did to him. I'm trying to find the fundraising pages for Gannon's family. Apparently, there were some sick and disgusting people out there impersonating friends and family members and were just scamming money out of people. So I will do my best to try to find the real fundraising pages for their family. If you don't see it in the description of this episode, please follow us on our Facebook page at The Parent Memoirs, where I will post updates for it regularly. I apologize in advance for the tears in this episode, but like we said, we think it was really important to share. So if there's any information that you want to share about this story, especially from the community of Fountain, please feel free to email us at theparentmemoirs@yahoo.com. Love your faces.
I love you. I love you, Mommy.
What?
It's time for the Parent Memoirs. All right, welcome.
Sorry.
Jess just messed with her microphone and fell. Welcome to another episode of the Parent Memoirs. I'm Laura Mack.
I'm Jessica James.
Okay, so our last episode, we talked about Gannon Stauch and JJ and Tylee Vallow. And there have been updates in both cases.
Yes.
A very, very upsetting one with Gannon.
Yes.
My husband was listening to me edit the episode where we were talking about him. Mm-hmm. So he knew that he had heard it just kind of in the background. And he came upstairs yesterday and was like, they found that boy's body. And I was like, Gannon's body? And he was like, yeah. I said, where was it? He was like, and he told me, and I was like, holy fuck. I immediately, I didn't even wait for him to finish speaking.
Yeah.
I immediately picked up the phone and called Jess because I was like, oh God, Jess is going to cry. This is going to be bad, bad, bad. Oh my God. Yes. So,
yes.
Yeah. So because this is the case Jess has been following, I'm going to let her kind of give the update. But why don't you tell us about that day?
That day
was, Jess was telling me how bad this fucking day was. And I'm like, oh, God damn. That sucks. I'm sorry.
Right? No, it was a crazy day. So yeah, sure. We can revisit that. All right. So this was Friday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Friday. And, so my husband and I have been having some issues with our health insurance, and I only bring this up because, as we've discussed before, I have 4 kids, life is crazy. So I take a couple of different antidepressants, it just helps to keep me from being, Godzilla mom bitch.
You don't have you do not have to justify that. And any mom would be like, yeah, sometimes it sucks.
Right. Sometimes it sucks.
It's not all sunshine and bunnies and rainbows.
It's not. And, and my wonderful husband works on the road, which is especially crazy right now with everything going on in the world because he's all over the place, And so that's stressful. And then, the world is just an unfortunate place sometimes right now.
Yeah.
And so anyways, we had been having some issues with our health insurance. And, so I haven't been able to get my medications and stuff filled in. Knowing this ahead of time, I started doing, the normal, cutting things back, cutting in half. And, so that way I didn't just have to stop cold turkey. And well, I finally ran out, probably about, I think it was on Thursday. I had ran out of one of them, like it's been about a month. And then my other one, I ran out like last Thursday. I took my last half of a pill on Thursday night. So yeah, I'd been cutting back on my medications, took my last half a pill on Thursday, and I don't know if it had anything to do with, cutting back on my meds or what, but Friday when I woke up, it was just like my brain was already like in overdrive. Like it was already feeling panicky and agitated.
Yeah.
And like I just had like this feeling like I was going to just explode at some point in the day. And
you kind of know
those
days.
Yeah, you do. Like you just have this feeling like, okay, it's going to be one of those days. There's going to be a shit fest at some point, but it's okay. Keep our hands to ourselves.
I'm going to try really hard not to kill someone or something.
Right. Kind of an unfortunate statement for this episode.
Yeah, oh God, I'm sorry. Oh Jesus.
It's okay.
I'm going to stop talking.
Is that inappropriate? No pun intended.
Yeah. I'm sorry. God, that's horrible. Okay.
So, but anyways, and I swear it seemed like as soon as all four of my beautiful little babies opened their eyes, it was just like immediate agitation on their ends as well. Like they were fighting, they were extremely demanding. Like every other second it felt like somebody was barking orders at me. And, it was, I hate you, I'm going to run away. I'm surprised I didn't hear a, go fuck yourself from one of them. It was just like something was in the air in my house that morning. And so I'm trying to get through my morning, trying to get the kids to calm down. And, sometime mid-morning, Laura calls and lets me know that, that they unfortunately found Gannon Stauch. They found his body. And I was like, okay, we talked about it for a minute. I hung up the phone with her. I came and sat in my little room and I just had a little, solitary ball fest. Yeah. And I just let a little bit of it go because I was just so mad and so frustrated with everything. And, and so I had my moment.
Sometimes you just need a good cry, and then it's like a release. And then you can go about your day. Don't struggle through it. Take the 5 minutes, cry, and then move on about your day.
Right. And exactly. You move on with your day, and I've even had points, where I've told my girls that I'm like, you're having a bad day. I don't know what's going on, but you're feeling it. Go take a shower, cry a little if you can, and maybe you'll feel a little bit better. And, and Gabby's done it. And she's like, wow, Mom, that really helped. And I said, sometimes people just need to go have a cry. And a shower is an amazing place.
The funniest part, the thing I'm sitting here dying is our running thing for years as a group of friends has been we cry in the shower.
Oh yeah.
And we come up with ideas in the shower. Those are the two things we do in the shower. All of us do. Yes. And Carly especially is like, so I was in the shower and I had this idea.
Yep. Okay, absolutely.
Great. I think it's hilarious that you're passing the torch of that
torch of wisdom
to your girls.
Hey, you know what? If it works, why not?
If it works, it works.
Right? Because, the shower is already in a relaxing place and you can just let some of that just wash away.
Exactly.
Right down the drain of misery.
Drain of misery.
Yes. And, and it just so happened that while Laura and I were having this conversation, Susie, Mike's mom, also happened to message me while I was on the phone with her to let me know that Gannon had been found because, of course, everybody knows how well I don't deal with these situations.
Yeah.
And so I have a wonderful support system that likes to, give me a little bit of a buffer before I see things on Facebook or whatever.
Well, do you remember the day that, that Rue McClanahan died at the lady who played Blanche of the Golden Girls.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So everybody knew my Golden Girls obsession. And I was sitting at my desk, and at that point, we were all still on the same team, and we had like a row of giant cubicles.
Yes.
And I was sitting at my desk, and it was like, I was kind of on like a little break. I was like, ugh. So I pulled up like Google News, and it said Rue McClanahan died. And I was like, and I heard Sophia or Tanya say, oh, she saw it. I was like, what?
Right?
Like, you guys knew.
Well,
and you
yeah.
knew I was going to find it, and you were hoping until I got to the end of the day without seeing it.
Right?
You guys all came over to comfort me because I was crying.
Right. Well, yeah, but that's what's amazing about our close little knit group is because, we establish such good relationships while working. Mm-hmm. And, and still to this day, I don't believe that any of us would have stayed at that place for as long as we did if we hadn't had each other.
Absolutely.
Because that was my main reason for being there, is because I got to see you guys every day.
Right.
And now, even after the fact that, I've been out of the workplace since, 2012. Mm-hmm. None of us work together anymore, but we still have that relationship. And I think it's amazing. And so I came to my room. I had my cry. I pulled myself together because it was lunchtime and Gabby was down in the kitchen, and I didn't want her to see me crying. And, and because I wasn't ready to have conversations with her about it yet. And still, it's Sunday, and I still haven't, because I'm still not at that point yet to be able to have that conversation with my own child.
And not
right.
Because you don't want to share that, like, no.
Right. Because that kind of news is hard enough without, a 12-year-old girl having to sit and watch their mom blubber over it.
And the fact that this is the neighborhood,
right?
Once again, there are multiple parents in this neighborhood,
right,
having the exact same conversation because they probably helped in the search, and like it.
Oh yeah,
and now they're having to explain to all these their children, like, and you don't want to share that in a way that's going to make them, like, you want to be the calming person that is helping them through their trauma, not increasing it by also being hysterical.
Right.
Like,
well,
so I get it.
Yeah, and it's everywhere. I mean, my gosh, I took Gabby to the dentist to get a tooth pulled the other day, and my dentist's office that I take them to is all the way up by Woodman and Powers. Mm-hmm. And one of the dental assistants asked me, like, because I had Gabby there. She was like, how's everything going down in that part of town?
Yeah.
And I instantly knew what she was talking about. And I was like, it sucks. Yeah. But, so I had lunch with Gabby. I was able to keep myself maintained. I don't remember what I was eating, but I remember I had a box of something. Oh, it was Cheez-Its. There was a box of Cheez-Its on the counter, and I kept like repositioning that in front of my face, like when Gabby would look up to talk to me. Just because, my face gets very red and blotchy. My eyes turn like this intense, vibrant green when I've been crying. Like,
yeah, they do.
It's crazy. And, so we got through lunch, and then the kids, did a craft. Gabby and I played some Battleship, so I was able to calm down and get everything together. And then I opened Facebook. And now I think we've touched on this before. I don't have the best, like, family when it comes to, like, my own side of the family from, like, my dad and my mom.
Yeah.
My husband's side of my family is fantastic, and they have been like my saving grace, because that's my family. I have my brother, I have my mom, and I have my dad, and that's pretty much it. And I can't even really say that we're super close.
Yeah.
Because there's been a lot of rifts in our family over the last couple years. Mm-hmm. So luckily for me, I have my husband's family, and it's a big one, and that's my family. Yeah. And so I get on Facebook, and it never fails that anytime anything has ever happened to some member on that side of the family, I always find out about it through fucking Facebook. You know, and so an uncle of mine who I haven't talked to, I can't even say I don't even know if I've ever even met him. So an uncle of mine decided to commit suicide. Now, and the reason that this was challenging for me is because this is now, I think, the 5th male on my dad's side of the family that has committed suicide.
Jesus.
One of my cousins who, you know, I got to see a lot up until, you know, probably until I was about 12 or so. You know, one of my cousins, that was the first one I found out about, had committed suicide. Found out about it on Facebook, you know, and so this particular uncle, I guess maybe he's not an uncle. I guess he's a cousin because he's my dad's brother's son. So he'd be a cousin, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So my uncle, King, which is one of my dad's brothers, committed suicide like forever ago. And now both of his sons have.
Oh my
and then one of my cousins. And I know that my dad's dad died when my dad was really young. And I don't know what that was from. But I know that from what I have learned, he was not a very nice man. So, you know, I don't know what happened there. So, okay, so maybe it's been 4 that I know about. And then I'm just sitting here thinking like,
what the fuck?
What the hell's wrong with my family? You know, and my suicide for some reason is just like, it's a big thing in my family and I don't understand why. Like,
yeah,
you know, it's just weird to think about. So I had that. And I was like, okay, well, you know, that's another, fucked up part of the day. But it was, unfortunately, as horrible as it sounds, it was more traumatizing for me to learn about Gannon in the day than it was for me to learn about my uncle because I didn't know him.
Didn't know him. But honestly, it does go to talking about this story,
right?
Kind of how the things piled
right
up in your day.
Yeah. So it was just, it was one more thing on top of my day. So at that point, you know, I'm still just trying to maintain. You know, the kids are back to fighting. I'm making dinner. I'm going through after getting, you know, got my making chili and I got my rice cooker going and I'm going through and sanitizing all the surfaces and the doorknobs in the house. And, you know, so I get done with that. I got 40 minutes for the rice to cook. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go take a bath. I'm just going to try to relax for a minute. So I go tell my 12-year-old, I just open her door and I'm like, okay, I'm going to take a bath. You don't have to watch them, but just listen to them and make sure they're not doing anything stupid. So I go and I take a bath and the entire time I'm in my oh so peaceful bath. My children, my younger ones, are upstairs running around, screaming the shrillest scream. Like you would think somebody was in there punching them in the face repeatedly, you know, and I know exactly what's going on because my handsome little pit bull Max, I can hear his feet bouncing around, charging up and down the stairs, running all over the stairs and on the top floor, which he's not even supposed to be on because that area is carpeted. And he's not even supposed to be up there. And the kids know that. And Max is amazing. He is a pit bull, but he's like the biggest little chicken shit sweetheart in the world. He's adorable. He's beautiful. And he is an absolute sweetheart. But he is, I think it's 4 years old, maybe at this point. And my kids know if you roughhouse with the dog and you chase him, he's going to think it's playtime and he's going to chase you back. He's going to jump on you. He's going to try to play. And when he does play, he gets a little nippy, you know, because I play tug of war and stuff like that with him. And my kids know this. And so, of course, I hear the kids screaming because Max is jumping on them, knocking them down. They're getting hurt. So I finally get out of the bath and I go out to my kids and I'm like, okay, we need to go have a conversation. So we all go downstairs and I sit with them on the couch and I'm like, look, I tried to take a bath. You guys know that I'm having a hard day today. I just needed a minute and you couldn't even give me that. And we go into this whole long spiel. And then I start talking to them again. And we've had this conversation with the kids several times about you cannot play rough with Max.
Right.
They're small kids. He's a big, beefy dog.
Yeah.
And it's easy for them to get hurt. And they just don't get it.
No.
And so I have to break it down into the nitty gritty. Okay, first off, he's a pit bull. Second off, if he's playing, even if he's playing and you get bit and there's blood and I have to take you to the doctor, that's it. He's done.
Yeah.
That's just the way, unfortunately, it works. And of course, Amelia is like, well, he could just come back home. And I'm like, no. And because we've had this conversation with them so many times, I break it down to the nitty gritty. He will go to the vet. He will get a shot. The shot is kind of like poison. It puts him to sleep. He doesn't wake up. He gets buried in the ground. And we will never have another house or another pet. We will never have another pet in this household until you are of an appropriate age. You have a job. You can afford the damn pet yourself. And so, of course, then I feel like an asshole because at that point, my 3 little ones are just bawling because now they're devastated by the idea of Max dying.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe now they'll finally get it. Like, I don't know. I don't know what else to do. So we have that conversation. We eat dinner. Dinner is, for the most part, silent, except for Amelia or Olivia humming to herself. We get through dinner. The kids go upstairs. They have some tablet time because I just need them to be separated. And because I've had it for the day, at 7:30, all their asses are in bed.
You're like, I am so fucking done.
Right. So then I get myself in bed and I think, okay, I'm going to call Mike and see how his day was. So I call him or he calls me, whichever, I don't know. And we're talking about it, telling him about my day, explaining everything that's been going on. It's just been a shitty day. And then, I say, okay, and did you hear that they found Gannon? And he didn't hear because, he's driving all day. And I explained, they found his body in Florida, and then, of course, we're tossing around ideas. Okay, why the fuck is he in Florida? How did he get there? Who took him there? What happened? And then I'm like, okay, that's great. Don't really want to talk about this right now. And because my husband's a curious guy, he, of course, gets on the news and he starts looking at things. And I'm just sitting there kind of quietly because I know what he's doing.
Yeah. And you know what he's about to do.
And I know what he's about to do. And this is nothing bad. I'm not saying anything bad about my husband. He's fantastic. But then he starts reading the list of the new charges that are being placed against the stepmom. And they're horrible. They're really horrible charges.
Yeah.
And then I just lose my shit again. And I'm just like sitting there like bawling. And he's like, are you crying? And I'm like, of course. Yes, I'm crying.
This is horrible.
And he's like, well, why are you crying? And I'm like, because it's just so sad.
Yeah.
It's just so sad.
It is.
And, and so I sit there and I'm just on the phone. He was like, I'm so sorry. He was like, I was just looking at it, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
You're like, go away. So you finally went to sleep.
So then I shut off. I turned off my phone or I, got off the phone with him, turned off my lights, put some stupid ass baking show on Netflix on my TV so I could just zone out and go to sleep.
There you go.
So that was my Friday.
All right. So let's talk about the charges and all this. I'll let Jess go into the details since she's been following that one. And I've been following the Lori Vallow one, which there's also an update on.
Yes.
But we'll talk about this horribleness first.
We will talk about this horribleness.
Ooh.
So just to refresh anybody's memory who needs it, the original charges that were being placed against Letitia Stauch back when she was first charged with murder, I believe it was March 2nd, there were 4 charges. Murder in the first degree, child abuse resulting in death, tampering with a deceased human body, and tampering with physical evidence. So those were the initial charges. And now there is a list of 13 charges that have now been placed against her as of March 20th. My understanding is that his body was found on March 18th. down in the Panhandle in Florida. So, of course, lots of speculation as to how or why he even got to Florida. So, bear with me. I'm just going to read through the list.
Yeah, because they're not releasing details of what they think happened.
Right.
But when you read through the charges, yeah, you can kind of tell what they think happened.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you get a pretty clear picture.
Yeah,
and of course, I'm sure that, once trials and everything begin, unless, she's decent in some sense and just pleads guilty like she should, which probably won't be the case. But, all right. So we have murder in the first degree. And they actually have murder in the first degree for the first count, murder in first degree for the second count. Count 3, child abuse resulting in death. Count 4, tampering with a deceased human body. Count 5, tampering with physical evidence. Count 6, a crime of violence, use of a firearm. Count 7, crime of violence, use of a blunt instrument. Count 8, crime of violence, use of a knife or other sharp instrument. Count 9, crime of violence, unlawfully causing the death of Gannon Stauch. Count 10, crime of violence, use of a firearm related to murder in the first degree to a child under 12 years of age. Sorry.
It's okay. If you can't read it, you can't
it's
read
okay.
it.
It's okay. He deserves it. All right. Did I do count 10? No, count 10. Crime of violence, use of a firearm related to murder in the first degree, child under 12 years of age. So I did. Count 11. Crime of violence, use of a blunt instrument related to murder in the first degree to a child under 12 years of age. Count 12, crime of violence, use of a knife or other sharp instrument related to murder in the first degree to a child under 12 years of age. And then count 13, crime of violence, unlawfully causing the death of Gannon Stauch related to murder in the first degree to a child under 12 years of age. So those are her new charges.
Jesus.
And from what I understand and from what I've read, they are absolutely pushing for the death penalty. So,
Which I'm not sure they can do.
Well, I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that since the crime was
Did they
committed.
actually say that?
Well, yeah, I've read that in articles that they're pushing for the death penalty.
Okay. Maybe I have a feeling it's because of the crime when it was committed.
Right, since it was committed before Colorado state changed its statute on the death penalty.
Fucked up there, didn't you, bitch?
Right? And, and I don't know, I have no idea how it works as far as since his body was actually found, in Florida, or if it's all going to be based off of where the crime was committed.
No, I did read through one article where they were talking, the Florida cops were talking about it, and they were like, no, we're not taking this. They were like, no. And basically what they were saying was, look, we're here to support Colorado, whatever they need. We're sending them, the autopsy and all the physical evidence and everything. But they said that they don't believe that the murder happened there.
In Florida?
Right. So they're like, this is just where
he was found.
She took the body.
Yeah.
But the crime itself, at least the majority of the crime itself, was not committed here. So we're just here to support Colorado. They're like, this is a fucking shit show, and we want no part of it.
Right.
Oh my God.
Right. And then and it says here, and I'm reading this from KOAA's website is where I'm reading my information from. Yeah. And then it says that Stauch is expected back in court on April 14th for a status conference. And prosecutors said they have to go over 100 search warrants in this case. And some of those warrants are from South Carolina, while the majority are local. So that's part of the reason why it's taking, forever for court stuff to start happening, is because they have so much shit they have to go through. Yeah. Unfortunately, in regards to this case.
Because she drove across the country
Right.
with a dead body, allegedly.
Right. Yeah. And
Like, now you've got, like, crime scenes out the fucking wazoo.
right. And it says that there have been multiple witnesses from businesses, gas stations, car rental businesses, and banks, anybody that has seen her traveling, through all these different states to get to Florida, like there's a huge list of witnesses at this point. So in a criminal complaint listing the charges against Letitia Stauch, there is also a redacted list containing witness from multiple locations ranging from Colorado, Texas, North Carolina, Louisiana, Mississippi, South Carolina, Washington, D.C., and Florida. Now, I don't know if all of that is pertaining to this particular case, but we have to keep in mind that she had warrants already out for her arrest under other aliases from other crimes that she had committed previously.
She did?
Yeah. Oh, we didn't talk about that?
No. Whoa. Back the fuck up. What?
So I had read in an article, and forgive me because I'm going off of memory at this point, because Letitia Stauch had actually, right before all this happened, had applied to start working in schools here in Colorado.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
because that's who we want.
right. And so, but and she initially got the job, but then when they started conducting the background search, they started finding discrepancies in her work history. And so they started looking into it. And then at that point, that's when it was starting to be discovered that she had actually had other warrants out for her arrest under different aliases for abuse, domestic violence, and all kinds of other shit.
No shit.
So this is, an individual who probably just should have been struck down a long time ago to save a lot of people a lot of heartache.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And it was, they at the school hadn't even had an opportunity yet to get in touch with her to let her know that
They found
that
out.
they weren't going to go ahead and offer her the position, because the day that she was supposed to show up for work was like, I think I read it was like January 25th.
Right.
And then all this went down on January 27th, and she never even bothered to show up, and the school had been trying to get a hold of her and couldn't.
Yeah.
So,
So when you read through, and by the way, I know that was really difficult for you to read through those charges, and I give you a lot of credit because you did it, and I don't think I could have. So, but you're right. He deserves. He deserves for everybody to know what this fucking bitch did to him.
right.
But when you read through the charges, like I said, they're not saying what they think happened, but it's pretty obvious what they think happened. Like, it's, and I have a feeling, so in our last episode, when we talked about the charges, we talked about how are they charging her with tampering with a dead body? Like, we couldn't figure it out. Right. And you had said, like, did they find a piece of him?
Right.
Like, what is going on? I have a feeling, because you and I had talked about how all of a sudden there were cops at the house, conducting searches and stuff. I have a feeling they found some kind of proof of her dismembering him.
Yeah.
And that's why they were like, we know she did this. Like, this is done. But now that they actually have the body. Like, it's...
Right. And they had to do an autopsy to even be able to identify that it was him.
Right.
And...
It's pretty obvious that... I mean, but the charges of she used a gun, a knife, a blunt instrument.
Right.
I'm like, what the fuck did you do to this? This kid was not like Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Like, you didn't need much to say. What the fuck? What did you do to this child?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Honestly, we're going to get the details, obviously, when the trial happens. But just reading through the list of charges, it is like, I'm like, this kid was 11.
Right.
What are you talking about? What did you do?
Right.
Like, oh my, the only thing I can hope, I just hope it was quick.
Right. Well, and
I pray to God.
yeah, and Susie happened. We were talking about it yesterday because we had to drive into town. So of course we passed by his neighborhood, and and you see the blue, you see all the blue everywhere. And at night you see, how a lot of people in the community have changed like their porch lights and stuff to blue lights, and because blue is his favorite color. And so we drove past, and Susie, she happened to say, he was tortured. And I told her, I was like,
Oh God.
And I was like,
Please tell me he wasn't.
and I told her, I was like, we have to hope that he was gone first before she did whatever she did, because 11-year-old little boy, he doesn't deserve that.
It's just horrendous.
It is.
The thought of torturing an 11-year-old boy, why?
Right.
How would you do that? Oh, God. So, we are going to keep following that.
Yes.
But, God, fuck that woman.
Yes.
If there is a higher power,
Right.
my God, I hope hell builds its own wing
Right.
for her.
Right.
Like, seriously. Like, if there is a hell,
Yeah.
there is no question.
Right. Yeah. I was just reading actually some, because of course, people can comment on the news articles and stuff. And I was reading, somebody posted on there, he was like, there isn't even room for you in hell.
Yeah.
Like, there isn't even space for you there. It's like, that's pretty unfortunately true. So.
All right. So that's the Gannon update.
Yes.
Let's lighten the mood a little bit. A little bit. Still horrifying, but oh
Yes.
God. But
Not to laugh, just,
I know.
lightening the mood.
Now we've cried. We're gonna lighten this up. This is a comedy show.
Right. It is. But unfortunately, as parents, there are real life issues that have to be addressed.
When we talk about things in the news and stuff, and I put these episodes out here,
Yes.
more people tend to follow it. Like,
Yeah.
they
Well,
just find it.
It's real life shit.
Right. And for those of you who don't know what this show usually is, it's usually just Jess and I talking about being moms, and we don't give out advice. We're
Right.
not preaching.
Nope.
We don't do any of that crap. We're just venting.
Right.
Honestly. And honestly, if you guys have advice, feel free to send it to us at the Parent
absolutely.
Memoirs at yahoo.com. Rock it out.
Yeah,
Like,
we love to hear from you guys.
trust me, we love it. So, yeah. But in our last episode, we talked about Gannon. We also talked about the case of Lori Vallow. Now, just to recap that bonkers ass story, her brother killed her estranged husband.
Yes.
Then a few months later, her brother died mysteriously of unknown causes, quote unquote.
Right.
Then the guy that she eventually married, his wife died unexpectedly of natural, quote unquote, natural causes.
Right.
2 weeks after she died, unexpectedly, which he managed to get this funeral together in like 24 hours, which I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You only do that if you were planning.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 weeks after she died, he married this bitch. Right? And now her 2 kids disappeared. Extended family hadn't seen him, and extended family was apparently very involved in their lives. They hadn't seen them since like September, so in November, they called the police to do a wellness check.
Yes.
Police showed up. They said, oh no, they moved to Arizona to live with so-and-so. And they said, come back tomorrow. We're really busy. As soon as the cops left, they booked it from Idaho straight to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And she refuses to help them find her children. And her fucking lawyer is like, she gets very upset when people accuse her of being a bad mother. She's a very loving and dedicated mother. I'm like, sorry, that's Stella wagging her tail really hard.
She's a tail thumper.
She is a tail thumper. That's okay. If you hear the thumping, it's the tail of a puppy. So she fucking booked it, but she's refusing to help them find her children. So, yeah. So the update on this this is from MSN.com.
Hi, baby. I love you. Mwah. Come on, my little Amelia. Come on, go play.
This is by... I apologize, honey. I'm gonna butcher your name, so please forgive me. Sanjana Farbarov for the Daily Mail.
Okay.
So please forgive me, ma'am. Or sir. I don't know. I could be wrong. I have no clue.
Fair enough, but we covered our bases.
Max. All right. Idaho prosecutors handling the case of Lori Vallow have submitted thousands of pieces of evidence, including videos from the mother's trip to Yellowstone National Park with her 2 children before their disappearance last fall, to be turned over to the defense. The Madison County prosecutors on Monday filed thousands of pages of documents, hundreds of photos, and several videotapes as part of the standard discovery process. Vallow's attorneys will get a chance to review all of the material and build their defense accordingly. A separate court filing this week by the first husband of Vallow's niece, Melanie Boudreau Pulowski, alleges that Lori and her new husband, doomsday author Chad Daybell, oh, by the way, they were part of a religious cult that believes that Christ's second coming is happening in July of this year. And the 144,000 are going to be taken up to heaven and blah, 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 blah. Apparently this is a religion-heavy episode that we're discussing here.
Right.
But okay. And she met this guy and was drawn to him because he is like a fiction author of doomsday bullshit. Then alleges that Lori and her new husband, doomsday author Chad Daybell, espoused some bizarre beliefs about people turning into zombies and requiring help to rid evil spirits possessing them. KTVB reported that evidence listed on the initial disclosure is said to include security videos that shows Vallow's 17-year-old daughter Tylee and 7-year-old son JJ, the 2 who've disappeared, spending time with her and her brother Alex Cox at Yellowstone National Park in September 2019. So right before they disappeared.
Yeah.
The family day trip marked the last time that Vallow was seen with her 2 children. It was also Tylee's last sighting. Her younger brother was last seen at his elementary school on Rexburg, Idaho, on September 23rd. He was pulled from the school the next day. So the next day, took him out of the school. Nobody's ever seen him. Other materials set to be turned over to the defense include taped interviews with family members and police body cam footage. As East Idaho News reported in court documents filed by Brandon Boudreau, the former husband of Lori Vallow's niece, Melanie, as part of a custody battle, he claims that his ex-wife knows where JJ and Tylee are and was part of her aunt's religious group and played a role in an attempt on his life. So these people, apparently there was like attempted murder and shit all over the fucking place. Melanie Boudreau Pulowski has vehemently denied through her attorney her ex-husband's claims. The revelations come from what Melanie's second husband, Ian Pulowski, told his lawyers. The filing does not specify how Boudreau obtained the documents, but the website reported, citing unnamed sources, that it came from Pulowski's computer. According to court records, Pulowski revealed that early in his relationship with Melanie, she discussed with him some of her religious beliefs. Conversations covered the subject of zombies, which Melanie allegedly explained were, quote, human bodies that have had their original spirits forced out of them and possessed by either a demon or a worm or a slug.
Okay.
Pulowski wrote that at first he tried to keep an open mind about Melanie's beliefs, some of which she said she had learned from her Aunt Lori and her fifth husband, Chad Daybell. So this bitch has been married 5 times.
Yeah.
I'm very curious. Now, we know the husband right before this got shot. I'm very curious to know what happened to the 3 before them.
Right.
How did they go?
Right.
Pulowski stated that when he first met Lori and her new husband in person, he did not get a bad impression from them, but it struck him that some of their ideas about religion felt like they were ripped, quote, straight out of a Dungeons and Dragons manual.
God.
According to Pulowski, Melanie told him she feared that her first husband, Brandon, had been possessed by a demon, and that she had been told by Daybell and Lori that her children, Tylee and JJ, had been possessed and had become zombies. She shared concerns that she had been told Brandon needed to die, and that may indicate that Tylee and JJ needed to die as well. Ian allegedly wrote, she told me she was worried that her brother, Alex Cox, may have had to, quote, take care of the kids. She explained that Cox had great faith and never wavered in his trust in the Lord. No task would be too difficult or too great for him. Cox, who was suspected of firing a shot at Brandon Boudreaux outside the house in Arizona, died under mysterious circumstances in December 2019, 6 months after he shot and killed Lori's estranged husband, Charles Vallow, during an argument. The brother claimed self-defense. In the wake of her extradition from Hawaii, she had fled with Daybell last November amid the search for her children in Idaho. Vallow remains in jail on a $1 million bail. She is due back in court, blah, blah, blah. It appears that some bond companies would not work with her. She was trying to get out on bail.
Okay.
They're like,
right.
You. This week, the Madison County prosecutors filed an initial discovery disclosure laying out what they gathered in the case. On the list, what appears to be 2 different security videos from Yellowstone. Past court documents have stated Tylee's last known whereabouts were in Yellowstone National Park on September 8th. Photos released by the FBI show Tylee and JJ, Lori, and Lori's brother Alex Cox. The Madison County prosecutors also gathered security video from the Idaho Falls airport and security footage from a storage unit complex where Lori allegedly abandoned a unit filled with her children's belongings.
Great.
So, my understanding, Melanie had been told, this is her niece.
Okay.
Melanie had been told by Chad and Lori that their children had been possessed and had become zombies.
Right.
Okay. He also talks about an attempted shooting on Melanie's ex-husband, Brandon Boudreaux, in which Brandon suspected Alex Cox had done it. She shared her concerns. She had been told Brandon needed to die.
Yes, baby.
Okay. Here's the thing about the storage unit. This is a parenting podcast, so if you hear children screaming in the background, kind of makes sense.
Yep.
Just so you know.
But they are happy and healthy. They might scream a lot, but they are happy and healthy.
Thank God. Okay. Okay, new surveillance footage might give investigators fresh clues into the disappearance of 2 Idaho kids. The video appears to show their mother, Lori Vallow, at a storage facility near their home shortly after the 7-year-old JJ and the 17-year-old Tylee were last seen in September. Investigators went through a storage unit where they found bikes, photos, and a backpack with JJ's initials, according to CBS News' Jonathan Vigliotti, who reported from inside the Rexburg, Idaho facility. It was disturbing to see it was the children's belongings that were in that storage unit, private investigator Rich Robertson said. Robertson had been working on the case with JJ's grandparents, Kay and Larry Woodcock. The video shows Vallow and a man visiting the storage unit on multiple occasions after the children went missing in the fall of 2019. At one point, the man is seen carrying a heavy tote bag. If they had expected the kids to be coming home soon, why would that stuff be in storage? On the other hand, if they didn't think the kids were ever coming back, why keep it? Vallow and Daybell have both denied wrongdoing in the case.
Of course.
So, that's the other thing religion can do to you people. Just saying. Just don't.
Is it wrong to say that more religious type cult groups should really take upon the Kool-Aid beverage more often?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. Just leave your kids out of it.
Right. Just leave the kids alone.
God in heaven. It's just, it's so goddamn disturbing.
It is.
It really is. Like, don't just fucking be a good person.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
If your religion is telling you to kill anything
Right.
or to hurt anyone,
Right.
that's not a good religion. And you need to really reevaluate here.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
So, Jesus, God in heaven. Okay. Like, fucking Christ.
Right. I know.
Just hug your kids.
Right.
They may drive you crazy.
Yep.
They might make you just want to scream.
Oh, yeah.
But, oh, God.
At the end of the day, they're our babies.
They are our babies.
And we're here to protect them because we made the choice to bring them into this world.
Absolutely. Good God.
Give them hugs. Tell them you love them.
Yeah.
Spoil them with ice cream and tablet time on occasion. It's not going to kill them.
So we're going to, oh, hi. I got 2 puppies here now. So let's talk real quick about the coronavirus stuff because, God, that's the whole world
Right?
freaking the fuck out right now. Rightly so.
Yeah. It's okay.
Mommy,
What?
can you help me put on my shoes?
I guess, yeah. You're going to need to probably put on a sweater. I don't know what the weather's like outside, but
Yeah, it's a little chilly.
you might want to put on a jacket.
Turn the microphone.
Yeah.
Hi.
Say hi, this is Liam.
Hi, this is Liam.
How old are you, Liam?
4.
You're 4 years old.
Uh-huh.
And who's your favorite sister?
Gabby.
Gabby! All right, go play.
Everyone's favorite.
Okay.
Everyone's
She smacked me in the head. Go. Thank you for taking them outside to play. You're awesome.
you, honey. As we were saying, our children are adorable.
They are.
All right, so we're going to talk about the coronavirus stuff. So,
Okay.
it's definitely, changed my world a little bit.
Yes.
TJ, his school is just like a lot of schools in this country are
Yep.
just completely shut down.
Yeah.
So but this week was these 2 weeks were his spring break anyway.
Right, yeah.
So we were kind of anticipating it.
Yeah.
My in-laws, who are amazing, were getting ready to take TJ and the other grandkids to Mexico.
Oh,
for
that's
spring
right.
break.
Yeah.
So, and up until like 2 days before, they were planning on going.
Oh, they ended up not going?
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
No,
good.
No. Because, and they weren't really concerned about the virus or anything. They were concerned because, our Mango Mussolini president, tangerine toddler,
Yes.
he was talking about, limiting immigration basically.
Right.
And he wasn't clear at first that it didn't count for American citizens.
Right.
Like,
Does it count if I wear this?
No, do not wear that outside, please.
I'm going to leave some of this in,
Oh,
the
of course.
kids interrupting.
Of course.
It's a parenting
It's a parenting podcast. It's
Jesus, God in heaven.
Right?
Okay. So, what was I saying?
about going to Cozumel and possibly not being able to get back in.
Yes. So at first he didn't make that clear at all.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, "Oh my God, what if we?" And then their other fear was, "What if they get somewhere down there that they are exposed and then they get quarantined,
Right.
and then what? They're stuck in a foreign country with
Right.
their parents, us and my sister-in-law and brother-in-law and my
And
husband,
kids, yeah.
flipping the fuck out."
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. So that was their main fear.
Yeah.
So they just said, screw it. I was like, okay, fine. So, but they still are taking him. Like, because
Yeah.
my father-in-law, because at this point we are pretty much working under the assumption that school is over
Right.
for the rest of the year.
Right.
Like, it, just gonna say, like, at this point, the schools are tentatively saying going back the middle of April. Okay, so they're gonna have a month in
Right.
school, and in a month left of school, that puts them at risk to get sick.
Right.
That doesn't feel worth it.
Right. You know, it doesn't. And we were actually talking about Susie and I again, because Susie is a previous educator. We're talking about this yesterday because all state standardized testing has already been canceled.
Right.
And that's primarily what the last month of school is.
Exactly.
So what's even the point of
No.
putting them back in the schools, taking
And-
that chance?
And we're already, this isn't like when you and I were in school.
Right.
We're already so connected with
Right.
his school through that Class Dojo app.
Yeah.
They've been sending us, they're like, here's the homework.
Yeah.
Like, we have it. It's here.
Right.
So we're able to kind of keep it going.
Yes.
Right? Obviously, it's a lot more work.
Yeah.
And for people like me and George who work, it's
Right.
a little bit challenging.
Right.
But this is why we have amazing parents who are both here. Like, honestly, I've said this multiple times since this started. We are incredibly blessed.
Yes.
And I could not be more grateful. And I want to put that out into the universe as much as possible.
Yes.
We have two sets of amazing parents who both live here in town. And we are the only grandchild or grandchildren, technically,
Yes.
that live here. So they want to see their grandkids.
Right.
I've got for those of you who haven't listened to the show before, I've got my 6-year-old, and we adopted a 17-year-old a few years back who's now 22.
God, really? Has it been that long?
It's my baby. I know.
That's awesome. But he's doing good, though.
He is. He's doing so good. He's got his own place.
Yeah.
My dad just gave him a car.
Nice. See?
Which was cool. Like, because when we adopted him, like, our parents swung into, we have a new grandbaby. Because we adopted him in October, and they swung into action to make sure he had the same Christmas as all the other grandkids. And he was very overwhelmed.
Oh,
he
yeah.
was like,
I can
I'm used
imagine.
to getting like 3 presents. I was like,
Welcome to this family.
welcome to the family. Like, no, it is not a 3-present family. Like, there
Right.
is not a residential structure large enough that would accommodate having Christmases together with both sets of grandparents.
Yes.
There's just too much.
Yes.
It's out of control. So he was just like, and his mom was, his parents were Puerto Rican. So the first for Christmas, he walked in and he saw all the presents and he saw this pile that they built up for him.
Yeah.
And he was like, whoa, white people.
Okay, we don't have to talk about this right now, but so Puerto Rican Christmases, I guess,
I
are
don't
different.
know. I didn't explore it beyond that, but that's what he said. And I just about died laughing. I was like, Nathan, Jesus, good Lord.
awesome.
Oh my God, he's so funny.
White people.
But yeah, like, our parents have just embraced him. They call him their bonus grandson.
That's
and,
awesome.
Like, I tend to call my in-laws bonus mom and dad, because I think in-laws sounds kind of
Cold.
Yeah.
Distant.
It does.
Yeah.
And honestly, they're so goddamn helpful with the kid.
Right.
Like, with both of them. When Nathan's needed something, like his car broke down, and they had Mimi's car when my husband's grandmother passed, and they were waiting to figure out what they wanted to do with it. They let him drive it around.
Yeah.
He got his car fixed, and I mean they bought him a bed.
Right.
When he moved in with us, because he didn't have a bed.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that some people feel like in-law is extremely appropriate. But like you said, we are both blessed to have amazing parents, whether in-laws or not. They're,
And my bonus dad was a kindergarten teacher for 20 years. So, and I've got a first grader.
Right. Perfect.
So, he was like, and my in-laws are travelers.
Yeah.
They go. They retired and they get like 5 different retirement checks from the Army, from Social Security, from teaching, from my mother-in-law's Army job. Like it's
right.
and that's a lot of money. And they have a bucket list, and they go.
Yeah.
Obviously, right now, going
Doesn't happen.
isn't going to happen.
Right.
Like, for a while. So they were like, okay, so on Sunday night, we'll take him and we'll keep him through Wednesday, and we'll do all of his school.
That's awesome.
Stuff. And that is what we'll do. And then he can be with you guys Thursday through Saturday.
Right.
Like, to get a good 3-4 days.
Yeah.
Like, okay, fine. So that is our plan.
Yeah.
And once again, but I know that not everybody has what we have, and this is really hard. Like, plus we're also very blessed. Once again, I keep saying it, extremely blessed that both of our jobs are allowing us to work from home.
Right.
And I don't want to say that my job feels very secure, because I don't think anybody's job
not right now.
secure now. So I'm just crossing my fingers and praying.
Yeah.
But logically, it seems to make sense that my job is a little bit secure.
Yeah.
Because it's investment banking.
Right.
And right now, the stock market is melting down.
Right.
And it is people, but you get 2 types of callers. People who are trying to get out of the market, like, send me all my money. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people who are taking advantage of low stock prices
and reinvesting
to buy.
Yeah.
They're like, no, this is not the time to get out. This is the time
to get in while it's low, so that when things recover.
Right. Because we've lost a lot of like, the stock market has cratered.
Yeah.
Like, it is back to the levels that it was before Trump was inaugurated.
Yeah.
Like, all of that just completely wiped out.
Yeah.
So it's bonkers. But both of I'm doing investment banking. They're letting us work from home. My husband's in insurance. He's in subrogation. He just does a lot of paperwork. So they were like, they literally packed him up with his desk computer from work. And they were like, go home. Like, okay, fine. So that's what he did. And we both have our own offices. So we're both able to shut the door.
Yeah.
And like I said, when I've needed help with TJ, like, I need somebody to take him here because I do have to work. Nathan has been able to come over and take him.
Yeah.
So we're incredibly blessed. Knock on wood. I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I'm taking advantage of it, like, or I'm, ungrateful. It's amazing. But not everybody has this. Now, a few things. Uh-oh.
Sorry.
What?
So Mike, he just sent me a picture of a box of Twinkies. And he said, in case this is the end of civilization, here is our retirement plan. For sale, the last Twinkie. Price, 1 gold bullion, 5,000 rounds of ammo, and 2 hand grenades each. Sorry.
Oh my God.
Hey, it's fitting for our talk conversation right now, though.
A little bit. Good Lord. So one thing that, especially with this being a parenting podcast, I really, 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 really wanted to mention, because I'm not sure everybody, a lot of people, they're still having to go to work. They're not like me sitting at home with the TV on mute.
Right.
Like watching with the closed captions on, watching everything that's going on. If your kid's school was canceled, check with the school about resources for feeding them.
Yes.
Because some parents, they rely on free and reduced lunches and even breakfasts at school. And a lot of schools, because their budget, like they had money in the budget to do this.
Right.
So they're still going to feed the kids.
Right.
They're doing like sack lunches and breakfasts and stuff. Yeah. If it's a free meal.
Right.
Call.
Take advantage of it.
The other thing, and I think this is still happening. One of the reasons that fast food joints have still been open, especially like Burger King and McDonald's, is they are offering free lunches Monday through Friday to kids with a purchase, basically. Like you come in and buy a sandwich for you.
Right, because the kid has to be present.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw I saw like a picture of like an advertisement for McDonald's going around, but when I tried to Google it to see if it was true, nothing came up. The only thing that came up was Burger King.
Okay.
Said it was true. So check out our Facebook page, The Parent Memoirs. I'm going to be posting, I said this to Tanya when we talked about it on our other podcast, Q isn't Cucumber. I'm going to be sharing resources and things that we've learned because that podcast is a workplace podcast. So especially for people in the service industry, like it's difficult right now. So I'm going to be sharing those. I will share any resources we have for parents on that one. Check it out.
And Susie was telling me too yesterday that that a lot of like other restaurants and stuff have been offering to cook up food too, because they don't want their food to go bad. So they've been, saying, hey, if you need something to eat, call us, pay what you can, and, and we'll work it out. Yeah. So there's definitely a lot of resources out there right now.
I will say that there have been moments where, and Tanya and I talked about this on our episode. The greediness of some people, like when you see these fuckers online who have like a giant table of hand sanitizer that they went and bought. Nobody else needs a fucking hand sanitizer, or the people that went and bought like a truckload of toilet paper. Now, nobody else needs to wipe their ass. Seriously, how much are you shitting that you need that much goddamn toilet paper?
It's just greediness.
What is wrong with you?
People are thinking they're going to make a buck.
Exactly. That guy, did you see that guy with the hand sanitizer
Amazon?
That was fucking shut down by Amazon and eBay? Oh, guys, you should look up that story. He ran around with like a U-Haul and got all the hand sanitizer and tried to sell it all on Amazon and eBay. He was price gouging.
Yeah.
He was. And they were like, fuck you. Amazon, good job, by the way.
Yeah.
Amazon shutting down a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like hundreds of retailers who were trying to price gouge. They were like, not now, bitches.
Yeah, Amazon has been very vocal about it.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? Good for them. Thank you.
Right.
Somebody needs to do it, right? That fucker, they shut him down. And he's like, I have $18,000 of hand sanitizer that I can't get rid of.
Shove it up your ass.
So, that's what you get.
Right.
For being a greedy bastard. Like, but I will say there are those stories.
Yeah.
But then you hear these amazing stories that you're just like Tanya, perfect example. We talked about this on our episode. She went to the store and she was looking for wipes, like disinfecting wipes.
Yeah.
Because she was getting ready to go back to work.
Right.
Now, my co-host on the other show, Tanya, she just got over breast cancer.
Yes.
And she is finally going back to work and she's beyond happy about it. But she does the chemo is leaving her body.
Right.
She's still got a compromised immune system. So she's a little nervous right now.
Right.
She's like, I finally beat cancer and now the world is dying.
Right. Yeah.
So she went to go find some wipes. Couldn't find any.
Yeah.
And she was chit-chatting with this elderly couple that was walking down the aisle. Mm-hmm. And the woman was just like, I just can't believe this. Like, I lived through the gas shortage in the 70s. Like, I have never seen any, like, this is crazy. Right. And she was there. She didn't have her hat on. She didn't have her boobs on. It's pretty obvious that, okay, fine. And the lady said, and she was just like, and people come in and they buy everything and they leave nothing for other people.
Right.
Like, and she looked at Tanya and said, like, I assume, you've been through a lot and you kind of need those. She was like, a little bit. I didn't just shave my head.
Right. Yeah.
Take off my boobs for kicks. I'm like, no.
Right.
So, but they just kind of chit-chatted a little bit and she walked away. All of a sudden, she's walking through the store and up runs the little old man. And he's got a 2-pack of wipes.
Yeah.
And he's like, I found these. They're $3.49. Here you go. And she was like, you don't want? And he was like, we're healthy.
Yeah.
We don't really go anywhere. We were looking for cleaning supplies just because we have grandkids and we want to make sure they're healthy. But honestly, we don't need, he was like, you need these. And he wandered around that store for 10 goddamn minutes looking for her when he found those.
That's awesome.
Like, people are doing amazing things.
Right. They are.
Like, some people are trying. My mom and I ordered one of those little handheld sewing things. Did you see that sewing thing I posted?
I have not yet.
Oh, you should see that.
Okay.
Because you could do it.
Okay.
Oh my God, that could be like a total project. So here's what people are doing because there's a shortage of face masks.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's a lady that put a pattern, a super simple pattern for making a reusable face mask for anybody who can sew. And she was like, do it. It takes about 15 minutes for each one. And there's an address for us here in Colorado Springs. There's an address that I posted on the story I posted about it, where you can just go drop them off. And they're dispersing them throughout the different hospitals and medical facilities. Right. So, I mean, we're home. So I actually went on Amazon and got one of those little handheld sewers.
Okay.
Because while I'm on the phone and working, like I can sew these and I'll take them down there and drop them off. And honestly, I have 3 giant bags of clothes that I was going to donate to Goodwill. Right. I'm like, I'm going to cut up the clothes and use them as the fabric. Like,
well, yeah, because, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but can we even donate stuff right now? Like stuff that could possibly be contaminated?
Probably not. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, because
like, what am I going to do with this stuff?
Right.
Like,
yeah, because I was just having that conversation with Susie yesterday. I'm like, I have all these boxes of stuff that I've been meaning to take to Goodwill, and I just haven't had time. Like, what am I supposed to do? Am I just supposed to trash it all? Because not all of it can be washed, like books and stuff like that.
Right.
And, as far as the face mask goes, Susie actually came over yesterday because she was working on, making face masks to take to because there's some senior centers that need them. And, and Susie has her quilting business and I sew. And, so that's actually what we worked on all day yesterday. But for some reason, the pattern that she had was just like really weird and very frustrating.
Yeah, take a look at the my Facebook page and the one I can't remember if it's on my personal one or the cucumber one. I can't remember.
Yeah, I'll take a look.
But it is on there, and it's like a super simple little pattern. Which I was like, and I mean, I sewed a little bit when I was younger for Girl Scouts. My mom is an amazing seamstress. Yes. She's fabulous. She made my wedding dress.
She did, and it was gorgeous. I ran into your mom in Joanne's the other day.
Oh my God, you did?
Yeah, it was probably a couple weeks ago. It was before everything started shutting down, and I was in there with Liam picking up some stuff to make some new bags with, and I just happened to peek through some fabric because I heard her voice.
And her voice sounds like mine. It's really...
And I think it kind of took her back for a minute because all of a sudden she's standing there waiting for her fabric to get cut. And I part the sea of fabrics and I'm like, hi, Laura's mom. And she just kind of looked at me for a minute like, hi. I was like, how you doing? She's like, well, just picking up some fabric for some Easter stuff and, in case we get shut down and have to stay in our houses. And I was like, oh, such a good idea. She just I don't know if she knew if she remembered who I was or not.
Yeah.
I think, by the time we finished talking,
Yeah.
maybe I didn't seem like such a freak. I just kept picturing The Shining, Jack Nixon peeking through the door like, I'm like, hi. So sorry.
See, Jess moved down here to Fountain, which is just down the street from my mom.
Yes.
From my parents' house. So it's like, oh, she's right there.
Yeah. And I see them all the time, like driving around town and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's really funny because I never used to see them up in the Springs. But now when I go up there, I'm like, I saw your mom the other day making a turn at a stoplight. I'm like, you can't see me, but hi. Yes, the face mask definitely is something that, since we're both sewers and have our own sewing businesses, we're jumping on the old bandwagon. Yeah. But I didn't see your post, so I will definitely have to take a look at that.
So do what you can. Like there's so many resources out there. I'm going to try to start posting them, and hopefully we'll get this will be over soon.
Yes.
Which would be really nice.
It would be. And, and just to share a quick tidbit, because Mike's dad, Mark, he was a hospital administrator in the Army and stuff. And so he still has a lot of contacts with like healthcare professionals and stuff. And he actually sent out a little video blip to us the other day talking about some precautionary steps that you can take. Like they're saying how, if you do have to go out to public, to like stores and stuff, come home before you sit down on any of your furniture, take your clothes off, put them in the washer, take a shower. And they were also talking about how it's really important right now, especially to brush your teeth and to use antiseptic to gargle with and stuff, because, the germs and stuff can live in your mouth. And if you don't flush them down into your body correctly so that they go into your stomach, you breathe them into your lungs. And, and I was sitting there thinking, and I have no idea if there's any relevance here. I'm like, well, I still drink my vinegar every day. So, maybe I'm good.
No, God.
But I've been doing that since Liam was born. Yeah. And you know what? And I tell you what, and I think we've talked about it before. He'll be 5 this year. Mm-hmm. I've been sick twice with minor colds, and with 4 kids,
which is amazing,
in daycare and in public school. Olivia had the flu about a month ago.
Yeah.
I've been fine.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, again, no idea if there's any relation, but as long as I drink my vinegar, I don't have issues with the skin on my feet. Because normally, it's really bizarre.
Interesting.
Like, because normally, because I'm on my feet constantly, and, and I'm a bigger girl, my feet get really fucked up and calloused and they crack. But as long as I drink my vinegar, I don't have that problem.
Really?
But if I stop taking it, they start to get messed up again. Because, as you can see, like, they're dry. Because, if there's
any medical professionals out there that happen to hear this, or anybody who just happens to know anything, I'm really curious about that. All right, we're wrapping this up. So thank you for joining us for this episode. We're going to be keeping up with all of this awfulness.
Yes.
Sadly. Thanks for joining us for another super light and funny episode of the Parent Memoirs.
Hey, you know what? At least it got a little more lighthearted towards the end.
Yes, it did. So until next time, I'm Laura Mack.
I'm Jessica James.
Love your faces.
Like what you hear? Rate and review on iTunes and be entered into our monthly drawing for a $50 Amazon gift card. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at TPM_Laura, LARA, and TPM_Jessie James, JESSIJAMES. You can also check out the Parent Memoirs Facebook page or the Parent Memoirs page on qisandcucumber.com. We also want to hear your advice, stories, feedback, and show suggestions. Email us at theparentmemoirs@yahoo.com, and you may hear them on a future episode. Stay strong, mommies and daddies. Love your faces.